Good morning and welcome to the November 23rd press conference. We're back virtually as we discussed having while our numbers were higher. We apologize in being a few minutes behind. We were getting the most updated information from all three hospitals for Sunday night into Monday totals. So for Monday totals, we have those done just here right before we got on. So that was what we were trying to piece together and total up. Before we start, I do want to say a couple things that are going on over the weekend and currently, and just want to make note of them. First, I'd like to thank Marty Stanovich and First Tee, and really also the Pensacola Parks and Rec staff and all those out at Osceola Golf Course. We had the Mayor's Cup that raises money for First Tee on Friday. It was a great event, and Osceola looked great. It's hard to believe that it's still only just a little over 2 months since we had a Category 2 hurricane come in. Adrian and his group had that place. Eddie Daigle, our supervisor out there, just had it looking unbelievably good. We had a good day, raised a lot of money for kids and teaching them a sport, and certainly appreciated that. Also this weekend, a couple events, certainly appreciated what was done for the Feeding the Gulf Coast, for the food truck festival. Certainly in that in mind, there was that out there happening. Had a chance to obviously as we head into Thanksgiving and in making sure there's enough food for everyone. Certainly those are good events as well. Also Audubon, I really would like to thank Audubon Society and Gulf Power for, it was a next era grant, Gulf Power grant that allowed Audubon to have enough money to purchase a number of trees, cypress, mulberry, and live oak. There were probably over 100 people that volunteered in putting those and other native species out at Bruce Beach. This was a great event that again put out some trees that we will have for the future, trees for not only our people to go visit as the park continues to develop and come of age, but also for our animals. Again, we've made a strong commitment to be focused on native plant species here, and I think this is our first chance to really put something in along those lines. Very focused at not only the local species that also help us deal with both the weather we have, rain and everything else to be more sustainable, but they also attract the right insects that attract the right birds and other habitat that is provided for local species. So we are very appreciative to Audubon for putting that on, and we thought it was a great event. And if you get a chance to go by there and see what was placed in there, I think those trees are going to be great. The city is going to continue to work on watering them to give them a base. We're certainly hoping, though, here planting in the fall with some winter rain starting to come, that they'll be good. They'll be in good shape, and coming out next spring they'll be great. Getting in hold, getting those roots out, so that if anything happens next fall, they'll be there and they'll be sustainable. So again, we're very excited about that project. It really is going to help us create a better Bruce Beach when we get the finished product out there. This area was sort of in that area that was between the park and Washerwoman's Creek. So this will provide a really good buffer, and it'll provide great habitat for birds, insects, a variety of other things that are naturally required for our ecosystem. So incredibly appreciative of them. Finally, today, Manna Food Bank and Coastal Moving and Storage, Mayflower, are having an event to a food drive. You're able to pack the van. I stopped by this morning and took some goods over there, but also took a check. This time is a very challenging time for food for everyone. Certainly look forward to spending time with family this week and having meals and all the great things that even in COVID, we're excited to have the opportunity to get together. But there are many individuals in our community that will not have the same opportunity and not have the same access to food. I certainly ask if you have the opportunity and the means to be able to do so, please think about giving to that. I was amazed at the number of individuals that were coming through and donating, and it was just great to see. It's certainly, whether it was Hurricane Sally relief or certainly food drive for MANA, we've seen things be very successful. The generosity of this community always amazes me, and it's just great to see. Certainly a while back, our own employees did a great food drive, and I think we referenced some of that on our social media before, but our employees have certainly taken place in trying to make sure that others have food and opportunities. So again, please, if you have a chance to think of others at this time, to go by Cordova Mall for MANA Food Bank. They will be there all day today, and they will be happy to take your donations. So that's also out there as well. Those are some of the things that are going on. Some of the things that are going on here is, obviously, this will be a little bit of a different week. We'll be closed for Thanksgiving on Thursday. So sanitation, the City of Pensacola offices and facilities will be closed Thursday and Friday in observance of Thanksgiving. That's City of Pensacola Administrative Office, City Hall, City of Pensacola Community Resources. The exceptions are Osceola Golf Course, which will be closed Thursday and reopen Friday, and Roger Scott Tennis Center, which will remain open on both days. So if you need to play tennis, hopefully there's going to be some good weather. I certainly would love to be out there. It's a good way to work off the turkey. So we hope you will enjoy time at either Roger Scott or on Friday at Osceola. So if you don't want to do all the shopping on Friday, you can certainly go out to Osceola. It looked great. I was out there this past Friday, as I said, for the Mayor's Cup. Sanitation services. The only route that will be changed this week is the Thursday route. Thursday customers, you will be picked up on Friday. So do not place your garbage can out on Wednesday night. Thursday is Thanksgiving. Our sanitation workers will be home with their families, enjoying a day with their families, but they will be out early, bright and early on Friday morning to pick up your garbage and your recycling. So Thursday routes will be serviced on Friday, and please have your garbage out at that point. That's yard debris collection. After completing yard debris collection from Hurricane Sally, the regular debris pickup schedule will resume starting Monday, November 30th. So November 30th, we will be back to normal pickup for your yard debris. Yard debris will be collected on the same day as your garbage and recycling. This applies to yard debris only, not bulk waste. So again, this is just your yard debris. So we will be back out again starting next week. Again, one of the things, Thanksgiving is always a great time to be together with our families and cook, but we want to make sure everyone's safe. Certainly the Pensacola Fire Department sends along a couple of cooking tips just to make sure that you have a safe holiday season. With Thanksgiving right around the corner, Pensacola Fire Department encourages residents to practice safe cooking now throughout the year. Most home fires are caused by cooking. Thanksgiving is the peak of home cooking, and so we look for a few tips. Stay in the kitchen when you are cooking at high temperatures. Keep children and pets at least 3 feet away from the stove. Place your fryer outside on a flat surface that cannot burn, such as cement, and at least 10 feet away from anything that could catch fire. So those of you who are going to fried turkey is certainly delicious, but if you're going to do it, please do it 10 feet away from anything that might catch on fire, and do it on a flat surface that will not burn, such as concrete. Keep children and pets also 3 feet away, and make sure that you thaw your turkey completely to keep ice crystals from splattering oil. So again, make sure that turkey is thawed before you place it in the fryer. We certainly would like to avoid any injuries that could be avoided during this holiday season, and I really appreciate the people at the Pensacola Fire Department, Chief Craner and her team. They do a great job. View more safety tips at cityofpensacola.com. The Mayor's Neighborhood Cleanup. We just collected this past weekend the latest cleanup. We collected over 59 tons of bulk waste for disposal, along with 80 tires and 1,000 gallons of paint. The cleanup program allows residents to clean up, leave eligible items at the curb, and we'll pick them up by sanitation services. The next cleanup is for Saturday, December 19th. And this is for those of you that had the last one of the year that was supposed to happen in October. If you were in the October area, we ask that you be prepared for Saturday, December 19th. That'll be the last one. You can learn more by going to the City of Pensacola and looking at the map and seeing if where your house is, and if you're in that one that was supposed to be in October. They're listed January through October, so the October one will be December. And then, of course, next year, we'll start right back with January as we come to January. So again, very happy to have those cleanups, and they do a lot of good. We will have another one in December, December 19th. COVID-19, again, there are about 14,220 non-resident cases that we've had. Again, this goes all the way back to March, so there are a number of things happening. Right now, our positivity rate for the 21st was 5.95%. This follows up on decreases we've seen since the 18th. We went 8.27, 7.31, 7.27. Hospitalizations continue to bounce around the 80s and 90s. We were on the 19th, we were at 87. Then the 20th, we were at 94. The 21st, we were at 83, and then 22nd, 81. And now today, we're up at 90. It is not uncommon for these things to go around and bounce around. Typically, people kind of go out during the weekend, and as soon as we start, we see things pick back up. But the good news is we've seen a lot of downward trend and upward trend. So we are in an above level that we would like to be at, but we don't see just an expansive rapid increase. What we're seeing is at least the things that we're doing and that we need to do. We saw that rapid ramp up into the 80s and 90s, and we've kind of been for 2 weeks now bouncing around in the same area. So that's the good news. We just need to continue to do the things we need to do. We need to continue to wear your mask, social distance, and again, wash your hands, stay away from closed spaces and congested areas. If we continue to do those things, we will be able to drive these numbers down. Again, I want to be real clear. The City of Pensacola has not had any lockdowns or closures that we forced. Again, from our standpoint, that's happened since the very beginning. The state has closed certain things. We've complied with them on that, but the city has not had to do that. In fact, we've worked very hard to keep our businesses open. We believe it's vitally important if we're going to have a prosperous city that we be able to do that. But the only way that we're allowed to do that, and what enables us to keep doing that, is to be wearing masks and be vigilant about that. And I totally understand that there is a lot of mask fatigue out there, but we are continuing to work with it. We've sent a number of places code enforcement out, and certainly while I think we didn't have any challenges one way or the other during the summer months. We've had some more pushback, but we're continuing to work with businesses to make sure that we do that. When you're in retail, if you can do everything outside, you're much less likely to get the virus. It's not impossible to get the virus outside, but you're much less likely. So again, we would ask that you, if you're going to go inside and you're going to be involved inside other places, that you wear a mask. And if you're going to be close congestion, even if you're outside, if you're going to be around other people, we ask that you look to wear a mask. Again, that allows us to keep all of our businesses open, to prevent closures, lockdowns in any other way. And again, all of our decisions will be made on local conditions that we have. And I realize there are a number of people that will call and they'll send me stuff and say, hey, have you seen what's going on in this city or that city? That's not what we're experiencing. We will simply make decisions based on what is happening in our city. We are cognizant of what's happening across the nation and across the state. But again, all those decisions that we make need to be made on what are the actual conditions we're experiencing here in Pensacola and Northwest Florida. Finally, this is the week of Thanksgiving. I'm incredibly thankful for a number of things, one of which is certainly the 800 men and women that work here at the City of Pensacola and do an amazing job every day. They truly are doing amazing things and doing very well in spite of many challenges, COVID, hurricanes, a variety of things that have been thrown at them, but they continue to rise to the occasion, and I'm very thankful for them. I'm also, this week, we'll be having new council members come in, and I'm very thankful for 4 council members that are leaving, that have provided incredible service to us, and even all of them have lengthy resumes and involvement here at the City Council. So I'm very thankful for all of their service that they have provided to the community for a number of years. They certainly will be missed, but we are very excited about our new council members. I will say 2 of them showed up at the Bruce Beach event, and it was great to see them already engaged. We had 3 other existing council members there. So again, it was great to see the City Council actively involved there as well, helping in that project. So again, we are very excited about that. I'm very thankful for those who do serve, and I'm more thankful for those who have served and will be leaving, and really appreciate their service. Certainly, lastly, I'm very thankful for you, the media, to help share our story and get things out. I'm always a little more thankful when we're accurately quoted, but again, at all times, we certainly are very appreciative. We certainly wish we would have been in person, but again, as long as we're going to be where we are until we get down to probably 50, cases, we will hospitalizations. We will probably be continue to do this virtually at this particular time. But again, we will work to make sure that we answer any of your questions, and happy to answer in any way we can. And lastly, I did want to say just real quick with the CPAC, and I was sorry I was not able to be there Tuesday night. I had a challenge with inner ear and some other challenges that were going on for me. But again, I just want to say very thankful for Joseph Marshall, who has been our chair, and certainly been doing that. This has been a challenging event, but I thought he did it very well. I was very thankful for him, but I certainly understand the health concerns, and he and his family. I've talked with him personally and wished him the best and thanked him for at least being involved in helping his community. But certainly when you have health challenges, that's the time you need to focus on that. And I certainly understand his decision, but I'm very appreciative of him while he was able to serve, and very appreciative of his leadership while he was able to lead. So again, that's kind of where we are at this particular time. I'm open up to any questions, and I'm happy to hear and try to answer anything we can.
First question is from Randy at Channel 3. Both FDOT and the Papantonio law firm have discussed that 2 contractors have taken over repairs on the bridge, and Skanska is working solely on the new span under construction. Can you talk about this, and will the city be in touch with these contractors throughout the process, or still go through Skanska for updates?
Well, again, I know there are 2 contractors that were brought in. I knew that from DOT, but I didn't know what exactly they're doing on the bridge. So I'll look to DOT. And again, we're not necessarily going to go to Skanska or the contractors. It's DOT's bridge. We will go to DOT. DOT continues to have sort of bi-weekly call, or every other week, bi-monthly calls every other week, in discussing it. I do think next week we are supposed to get together with the secretary and his team. They're supposed to be over here. Obviously, we'll talk about the bridge and the landing, but that won't be the only thing we talk about. One of the things we do want to talk about, I do think, and what I've been told, in the very near future, we probably will see a closure of the intersection of 17th and Bayfront. That will be closed. Cars can go through the trestle and then will be directed up Gregory Street, and traffic coming Bayfront will be directed up 14th for some time. That will allow them to repair and finish out the construction work that needs to be done. If you've been down there, you've seen they've moved a number of things. They've been doing a significant amount of work, and that's good. So they're already getting started. But I don't have that date at this particular time. I do know, in talking, I talked Friday with Ryan Devoda. I think that one time they had talked about trying to do something this week, and we simply said we need more time to communicate with our citizens and tell them what's happening. I don't have the exact date, but I think it will be probably right after, sometime after Thanksgiving, that you will see that intersection closed down. And again, traffic going up Bayfront will be diverted onto 14th. Traffic coming down 17th will be diverted over to Gregory. But the intersection will be closed, and they will be working on getting that done. Otherwise, we'll continue to stay in touch. Like I said, DOT, we expect to see them the week after Thanksgiving. We'll discuss the bridge, but the bridge is not the only thing we're going to discuss. My understanding is they've recently just let the project for Cervantes. So again, there are a number of things that will be started here very shortly, and we'll continue to work with them on all of those to make sure as many things get done. And one of the things we're going to be advocating for is, and I think what I've been told it will also be happening, is some resurfacing at Barrancas and Garden. As you know, they fixed that. They finally fixed the light. They were able to get a cabinet and get the parts in to fix that light and get it back functional. They will now hopefully be coming through and doing some additional work. There's a fairly significant dip. We've been communicating and discussing with them some of the challenges. Obviously, just resurfacing is not going to work. It keeps dropping down because we've got a subsurface issue with a pipe, but we'll work with them. These are just some of the things that we'll do. We're also talking with them about some lighting on state roads. You've seen there have been several council members that want to talk about lighting on state roads. Again, we believe that we certainly stand and we advocate for getting more lighting on state roads, but that's really the job of DOT. That's not our job, but we are actively pursuing, and we've been meeting with some council members looking at improving lighting on city streets, and we are very excited about what we're going to be able to do on that. But that's kind of where we are with DOT, Skanska, and the bridge.
This is from Jeremy in Weekly. Will the city be doing anything further insofar as efforts to get a ferry service going?
Jeremy, again, we've done the things we could do. We've placed our landings. We even I'm looking out the window right now and I can see the new landing behind Bayfront. Behind Maritime Park over here that we've placed over inside Maritime Park. So it's now up and running and available. We have 2 sites that you could come in. We have parking facilities at both sites. The city is taking care of the assets. We put additional money into that. I think the operation of the ferry is really beyond that's a more significant entity needs to be involved with that. I think DOT was, again, I wish DOT had, I wish Skanska had funded it. I thought that was more appropriate. I understand why DOT hasn't been able to fund it, and certainly the challenges that they're having with COVID related to their funding. So I totally understand what has happened from their perspective. But I thought this would have been something that Skanska could have helped with in our community, and would have been something to at least provide some goodwill and really some assistance to help those that are significantly impacted for the next couple of months. But at this particular time, by the time we get it up and running, we'd almost be ready to get to the standpoint that we would see the bridge coming back. So at this point, I want them very focused on getting the bridge back open and running by March.
And this is also from Jeremy at In Weekly. CPAC looks like it might push again for some sort of oversight role as opposed to advisory. Are you open to that conversation?
Again, much of the advisory thing, Susan Wolf did a significant amount of research beforehand. She presented her findings to them, even within the state of Florida, because of the way the collective bargaining works. Just the ability to subpoena and have those things on there is just not a function of what is allowable within the state of Florida. And certainly she researched a lot of that before we even started it. Then she communicated those things to them. And it's kind of one of those cases where it's sort of beyond us as far as what's happened here, case law in the state of Florida. I think there are things we can focus on. There are things that they've suggested I would like to see CPAC stay focused on what they can do, provide a report. If there are individuals on CPAC or individuals other places that would like to see something change at the state level, I would highly encourage them to work with state officials in whatever way they see fit that they feel like is the thing that needs to happen. From our standpoint, we want to stay very focused on the things we can do. There are many of the presentations that have come forward that are things we can do, things we need to do in training, things we need to do in preparing other access. So I look forward to that. I thought what was presented the other night with Kyle Kopacek was something that's very doable for us. It encourages a way for people to see law enforcement in their neighborhoods being in a productive situation. We're going to take on McGee Field. I've talked with the police. I believe it's something they're excited about, being there and helping at McGee Field. It talked about us participating both in the events that they have that are sporting, but also academic. And so we could find ways to be there. Tommy has done a lot of this already at our community centers. He's very much been in trying to get us to do this. So this is sort of right down the alley of things we wanted to do. We can certainly be there, be the chain gang at move first down markers at their football games. We can do a number of things to be involved positively in ways that we can do with those children and in those neighborhoods. These are things that were suggested to us that we could be involved at McGee Field, and I think you will see that. And I think you'll see that both on the athletic side, but I think you will also see it on the academic side. We certainly want to be just as involved there in moving our kids forward in education in any way. I know, like I said before, Tommy and his team have already been doing some of that at our community centers. The biggest challenge that we've had is obviously what's happening with our community centers and keeping them open. But I really appreciate Kyle Kopacek bringing that forward. These are ideas, anything we can do that gives a more positive experience with the police that are in neighborhoods, serving those neighborhoods, not just in a way with police, but also serving them to make overall holistic, better neighborhoods involved with children and adults. I mean, this is a chance. It's not just children. The parents are also there. And there was discussion about significant parent involvement as well. So again, we look for those opportunities to have very positive experiences. I thought what Kyle brought forward was very doable for us. And again, there are a number of different initiatives that are being brought forward by the CPAC that are things that we can do that will make for a better police force and a better city of Pensacola. And so we're going to stay focused on those. The things we don't control, the things we can't control that are beyond it, they'll have to go other places and work within that. So we would highly encourage people who have those opinions. Susan did a lot of work. She presented that to them. And if they have ideas or something else and they want to change them at the state level, we encourage them to go to the state.
This is from Randy at Channel 3. What are we doing at the airport as far as any COVID precautions, knowing it will be a busy travel period?
I mean, the airport continues to practice the same protocols that they've been doing. We've spent a lot of money cleaning the airport, and we will continue to keep cleaning the airport over and over again. Some of the things that we talked about in there that we would like to have done with our facilities with CARES Act money, those are things we would have loved to have had and invested some additional funding into the building. That's why we asked for the CARES Act money. I mean, that's still sitting there, but we would love to find a way to take some of that funding and help make our buildings, including the airport, a safer place for people. But they're the same protocols they've had in since March, we will continue to do. And part of that's wearing a mask, and part of that is also the significant amount of cleaning that we do. We have received a number of sizable amount of money from the county, about $2.6 million. About $900,000 of that was for things we've already done, and a large part of that was cleaning. And a large part of that's cleaning the airport. I mean, we are committed to the additional cleaning that we need to do there, and we're committed to making sure that that it's as safe as possible. But again, most of the things we're seeing at this point necessarily aren't aren't pointing necessarily to the airport, but I mean, it's one of those things we'll continue to watch, and we don't ever want the airport to become a source of COVID-19 or any other virus.
And this is also from Randy. Can you give an update on the hand washing stations for the homeless?
We continue to have them out there. I'll find. I mean, that's one thing, Casey, we can just pull together. I wasn't aware that we had anything else necessarily happening. We've got one here in City Hall. We've got a porta potty here at City Hall as well. We've got them other places throughout the city. So we'll continue to keep working with that. Where did I see one the other? Oh, I saw one at Cordova Mall. So, you know, just now when I was there for the thing for Manna. So there are certainly a number of places that have hand washing stations all over, and we will continue to have those out there as we can, and we're expecting those. That's one of the things we use the CARES Act funding to support. So again, that's, you know, there are a lot of initiatives that the city has been leading at in trying to get out there and do, and that's what we're expecting CARES Act funding to take care of.
This is from Jeremy at M Weekly. Is the city's green, yellow, red system still relevant? If so, what constitutes a yellow or red? And at what point would you consider measures such as lockdown or closures? And does the city have the authority to take those kind of steps, or would the state preempt?
We're heavily focused on speculation. Jeremy, I appreciate it, but I mean, you know, we still do have the yellow, green, and red system. In fact, right now, even at this point, at 90 hospitalizations, our hospitals are in the green. I think it's the right system for us to have. We may get into the yellow. I mean, we certainly were there when we dealt with things this summer. When we went up to 246 hospitalizations. I mean, these certainly are challenges. We've been in the yellow on fire and police. So at this particular time, I really appreciate Chief Craner and Chief Leiter really working with their staffs to make sure that they're very focused on it. They've probably had smaller incidents of COVID challenges than we've had, you know, here at City Hall. The 7th floor did not have a good week the last 2 weeks. We're getting people back. I mean, the good news is we didn't have a ton of positive cases, but the challenges are we had some exposure. We had some people within the city, employees that have had it, you know, and fortunately, knock on wood, we've not had any significant cases where the impact to our employees has been challenged. It's more been, you know, they've had minor symptoms and gotten better, and hopefully we look forward to bringing them back. The challenge is while they were here, they might have exposed a couple of people, but none of those exposures necessarily have turned into any more positive cases. But nonetheless, they were exposures, and we do have several of those people at home, including I see Keith from his house, which he's going to be getting back very shortly back to City Hall. But again, you know, we just had a number of exposures, but that's what we're focused on. You know, again, I don't think it's worth us speculating to say what we're going to do one way or other down the road. Again, we've said already that we will leave everything on the table, and we would look at everything if we got to a point where there was a significant impact. But at this time, we're bouncing around in the 80s and 90s. From the hospital standpoint, they're still in the green. We're pushing at the very upper level of that. So the more we can do what we can do to keep that number from getting there, and that we've seen that, we've done that. This has not been June. We have not seen it rapidly increase out of control, but nonetheless, we are concerned. And if we get over 100, you know, it starts to move in different directions. And if we had to, we would color code it different, and we just still keep working. But again, this is one of the reasons I think we need to have a very clear strategy is to communicate how we work with the public. I think the green, yellow, red is a good system still in place to allow us to know when we're alerted, and we should take certain actions. The challenge is we should also take certain actions when eventually we get low. If we get low, we need to take certain actions to prevent mask fatigue, to prevent a variety of other things from happening, because if numbers come back up, we will immediately need to work to get those, reinstitute things and get those numbers down. So I think we stay focused on that green, yellow, red, and the city puts it out every single day. We've been in the green in both fire and police, and right now, at least we're pushing the levels of green, but at least from hospitalizations, we're still there, and we'd love to see those numbers come down. And we're very encouraged that for the last 2 weeks, we've really kind of bounced around in the same range, but we'd like to push those numbers down.
This is from John at Studio 850. Is the city and Baptist Hospital collaborating on future use of the current Baptist campus when their new facility opens? What are your thoughts?
Yes, we've talked about that for some time. They're continuing to work on what's going to happen with the repurpose of that area and how they're going to utilize it. I mean, part of it is clearly it's their property, it's private property, but they have promised to be involved and engage the city in their process. I think they've been working with neighborhoods and our neighborhood department, continuing to look at what will be the eventual use. They've just started construction on their new facility. It's it's going to take a couple of years, and then it will probably still take some time to transition out of where they currently are over to the new space. So again, there'll be some time before we finally get to a point where we can do something, but we have been working with them. I know they have been diligently working on this, but we also expect to be a part of that. I know that Lawrence Powell and Neighborhoods Division has been trying to work and make sure that for those neighborhoods around Baptist Hospital that we figure out the right solution that'll work both for the city and for the neighborhood. At the same time, I think it could be an incredible opportunity for us to rethink how that west side of our community is oriented and what we do there. And I think there's great opportunity for us as we move forward.
This is from Andrew at News Radio. I know Joe Marshall stepped down, in part citing the change of John Gerald's, but what about D1, D3, and D7? Can you just talk about how that works during changeover for boards?
We did not anticipate there to be a Andrews, and by the way, it was good to see you this morning. And I will say, as a Midwesterner, by where you grew up, I was surprised to see how bundled up you were. But I will say, when you're just sitting outside with that wind, it was a little bit cooler. But it was nice. It was certainly nice to have the gentleman come by and bring everybody hot chocolate. That was a nice thing, nice gesture, and certainly appreciate him doing that. But again, I think at this point there was no intention that we would change that we would change people necessarily. It is our intention that we think that they will bring forward a report probably in the spring. We told them to shoot for hopefully March. If it pushes to the 1st of April, that's really about as late as we can get it. But we need to have something at that point, because otherwise, once you hit May, I mean, by then the budget's already baked. I mean, there was a couple of things. The first couple of meetings back, they had some things that would be, that would deal with some cost issues for the city. So again, we said we're willing to look at them, but we really need to put them under our budget and know what's going on. So we highly encourage them to have something report back to us. I think if we get a report similar to what the transition team did, that gives us things to shoot for. Some of those things are achievable perhaps in the first year. Some of them will wait and take some more time, but we can eventually work towards. So we're looking to get the report, and we think that's what will happen. So from our standpoint, there was never an anticipation to change people necessarily because of changeover that was happening from City Council. We did fully expect, again, that they will make this report. At the same time, I think, Dr. Marshall's challenges were also some of his own personal health. And I know in talking with him and calling with him and certainly wishing him the best as he deals with some of those health issues, we certainly will be thinking about him. And I totally understood why he needed to get focused on that. So, from his standpoint, I fully understand. While it may have coincided with the thing with Mr. Gerald stepping down, we'll kind of move from there and have something ready by the time the next CPAC comes together. Hopefully, be looking to bring them another team member back in, and also to be looking to go ahead and look for the committee to choose a new chair. But again, all of those things will be available for the committee to make their decisions, and we simply wish Dr. Marshall the best as he looks to recover, and we certainly will be thinking about him as he works with his own health issues.
This is also from Andrew. Do you still expect the roundabout to open Wednesday?
Yes, we've been told that it should open to traffic this week, and that but we're going to have a ribbon cutting the following week. So again, we, at least what I was told by Derek and by his team, they still thought it was on. If something changes, Casey will get with them today. I haven't heard anything over the weekend that told me it would be anything different. So expect that it could very well be Wednesday, at least as we say that it's sort of a soft opening. But it will be open so people can start seeing how it works and getting used to it. We think it will offer some traffic calming. I've heard it looks very nice, and I'm looking forward to seeing. I think it was a great project. It was engineered in-house and put together, and I'm excited to see how it functions in moving forward and tries to slow down some of the traffic that was going very fast through there and speeding beyond the speeds of what those streets were designed to accommodate. So we're excited about that project. I think it's going to be a great project, and I do expect to see it open fairly soon.
And I actually just checked with Public Works, and they said yes, it is still on track to open Wednesday. So we will update you guys if that changes. And I do not see any more questions if you want to close us out.
All right. Well, again, I'm very thankful for this community and what it is, seasonal weather that we're having and the people that are here. Again, I think we have every bit the potential to be the best community of anywhere in the United States. It's certainly our goal, and the 800 men and women that work here every day work to that goal. We'll keep working it together, and certainly there are challenges that will come forward, but we are very thankful for the opportunity to serve and continue to try to make a better Pensacola, and we will continue to do that. And we look forward to seeing you after Thanksgiving. We got another question.
Yes, I spoke too soon. It came in right as I was wrapping up, and there's a bit of a delay. So this is from Randy at Channel 3. He asks, can you talk about how the annual Thanksgiving homeless meal will be different this year in the city?
I don't know which one homeless meal that the city does. So I mean, we don't have a homeless meal. Now there are churches that have it, and a number of churches have different meals, and they may alter the way they've done it before. Some of the other providers may have something, and they may alter what they've done. Again, everybody is just trying to learn with COVID, and certainly homelessness has been perhaps the area that's been most impacted. Shelters, again, we just don't have the ones we had before because of either COVID or Sally. And so it's been one of those things we're continuing to work through. I do expect to have some reports back from staff after Thanksgiving, and then we expect to kind of look at those, evaluate those, and put something together to bring forward to the public in January. So I am looking forward to that, and I do expect that to move forward here. But at the same time, I mean, again, we're not, the city has not said there can't be meals or any other place. We want you to go out and enjoy your normal traditions, your traditions for your family, your traditions if you serve, if you choose to go to your church or you choose to go to another organization that deals with homelessness and provides a meal. We certainly encourage you and find ways to continue to do that because there's certainly a need for that. We ask that you look to do it in any way you can to reduce the spread. I would think, again, masks are a part of that. We would ask that that everybody sort of try the opportunity to wear masks. Again, when you're sitting down eating, you have the ability to take off your mask. We've talked about commerce for a significant amount of part. I've been all over eating out, trying to help businesses as much as possible. Been happy to eat out. When you sit down, you eat out, you don't put your mask on, but we've been able to see those things happen and not experience outbreaks significantly from that. So again, if I think we all take the proper precautions, we're able to see that we can be open, we can do things, and we can make things happen without seeing significant impact. It's when we don't take the proper precautions, dealing with hand washing, space, social distancing, or wearing masks. That's where we end up getting those impacts. So I think you can totally, your church, your organization can have some kind of a meal. I simply think you need protocols to make sure it's administered as safely as possible. I know we had at Public Works, we had a Thanksgiving lunch. Everybody was sitting 6 feet apart from everybody, and it meant that some people, usually we were able to fit everybody in the same room, and some people had to go to a different room out at Public Works. But everybody's just trying to figure out how to work it as best we can to make sure you don't have people around each other, that they're socially distanced, that they're masked, and however else they can be. So my feeling is we can still do these things. We just got to be responsible. And if we handle it responsibly, we've shown that we can be open. We can have a community that is open and available and has people participating in it without having high numbers. And we've been able to also drive down numbers when they've been significantly high. We never shut down. We never closed down. So I think we've just asked people to be more responsible. And I think that's much more, the way it's been able to be successful. So I'd rather not have shutdowns and ask people and just simply ask people to be responsible. If we can be responsible, we can have all the things we want in this community and continue to keep working forward. And I look forward to the day when we don't have to do those things. But until we can get the vaccine and see some other things happen or see the virility of the virus go down, I think we're still going to be in this position for at least a little while longer. All
right. And that is all we've got for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And have a happy Thanksgiving, and hope everybody has safe out there gatherings, and certainly has time to be able to spend with family and loved ones. So I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving.